Hey there, everybody. This is another Hall of Fame class of 2018 tribute game. The honoree tonight is Cleveland's Jim Thome. I understand he played for the White Sox and the Phillies, but I kind of associated him more with Cleveland than with anybody else, and I'm assuming he'll go in with a Cleveland hat. So this is a replay of the game played July 28th, 2002 against Detroit. And why I picked this game is that Jim Thome actually won this game with a walk-off grand slam in real life. So I've got the as-played lineups, and I'll show those here just a second. So did my little spreadsheet here with the lineups for both teams. You can see those lineups right there. Starting pitchers Danny Baez for Cleveland and Mark Redmond for the Tigers. You can see the bullpens for both teams, and I've make sure I put the L's by the left-handed relievers so I know just at a glance how many lefties are available and how many righties are available. Now Mark Redmond is a lefty, which is why Cleveland has so many left-handed hitters on the bench. So I know who's available to pinch hit. And before I get started any further, I might have given away a little bit here, but I did want to give props out to all the channels out there, especially a couple of new ones I found that are broadcasting cards and dice board games and some computer games. And just wanted to put those out there for those that may not know these channels are out there. A lot of them you're going to recognize, but some of them you may not. And I do highly encourage you to check those out, subscribe to them, like them, and encourage them to do more. The first one is Bleacher Bum Gaming. That is someone I found recently and done some payoff pitch games, so very cool. Definitely subscribe to his channel. Next one is Cards and Dice Tabletop Sports, and he's doing a lot of inside pitch, the Bob Gibson replay 1968 season, so definitely encourage you to go over there and check that out. And if you're not sure where to find these channels, I actually went to the search engine in YouTube and typed in these names and they came right up, so they're easy to find. And we've got Combat Painter. That's another gamer out there, and he's doing a lot of History Maker baseball, and he's also doing, I believe, I think it's the 60, I want to say it's a 69 replay with History Maker. I'm not sure exactly, I could be wrong on that, but that's the one I remember the most. Then you've got Jonathan Van Der Zeel. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I think they affectionately call him JVD. So he's out there. He does some stuff with APA and some other games. Then we've got Ron Impsch, and I hope I spelled that correctly. But he is big into the APA world, so you will see some APA videos on his channel. Then you've got Pete Miller. He's another person that did an inside pitch demo and explained the rules and so forth. Very, very knowledgeable and very good. Then we've got DMO 1964. He's primarily computer, but he's done a lot with Inside Pitch, the PC game. So, obviously learned some things from that as well. So check that channel out. And then on the right-hand side, we got the usual suspects. Just wanted to put them back out there to give them another shout out. You got Strat-O-Matic Delaware. You got Higher Ground Gaming. You got ID Jester. You got Kiefer Fairbanks. Of course, Espo Strat Baseball Network. You got Tabletop Baseball Plus with the two Earls, Tenacious Earl and Tabletop Earl. And then, of course, you got Steve Tower and his AFR After Review channel. And he's not listed on here because he's not really doing any more videos, but certainly Al Wilson is one of the patriarchs, I think, of putting tabletop games on YouTube. So definitely you might want to check out Al Wilson's channel. And I think you'll benefit from all these guys. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed to them, check them out. And give them that like and give them a subscribe and encourage them to keep doing what they're doing, because it's promoting the games, promoting the hobby, and I just think it's a good idea to do that. So I haven't done that in a while. I haven't put out a shout out to those channels, so I wanted to do that today before I get started with Jim Thome and his replay to honor his recent Hall of Fame induction. Again, it is the 2002 replay from July I believe I said July 28th, yes, against the Tigers. And Danny Baez is your starter for Cleveland. And this is super advanced, in case you were curious. This is super advanced. Oh, ballpark effects. I almost forgot the ballpark effects. And I know I brought the little cheat sheet in here, actually the ballpark effects. I gotta find what I did with it now. Here it is. It's a printout version from 2002. If you look at Cleveland, it's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of faded a little bit, but that's a 1-9, both righties and lefties for singles, and 1-10, both righties and lefties for home runs at Cleveland, at Jacobs Field. So we are ready to go. Stepping into the box for the, help if I get the right team in there, wouldn't it? George Lombard of the Tigers is going to lead things off, center fielder. And he'll be in there against Denny Baez, the right-hander. So we got a left-hander against a right-hander. And we're underway at this Jim Thome tribute game. It's a 3-5. 3-5 is a single. So Jim Thome, right off the bat, with a leadoff single. That'll bring up Damien, You Know It Don't Come Easily. If you remember that song from, I believe it was from Ringo Starr, or maybe it's just the Beatles. All right, we got a 13, which is nothing, so easily, righty on righty. It's a 2-5, and he is actually plunked, hit by the pitch. Says plus injury, but I'm not doing a plus injury on this tribute game because I want everybody to, kind of stay out there. So, but it is a hit by pitch. So, runs at first and second, nobody out for Bobby Higginson. That's a 17, nothing doing there on the D20. Higginson's a lefty. It's a 2-4. And that's a ballpark base hit check, and that's a 1-9. We just saw it was a 1-9 for a single. That is a 6, so it is a single, and that's going to load the bases. So Denny Baez running into trouble early. Bases loaded, nobody out for the DH Randall Simon. And we'll check the D20. There's nothing there on that 10. So Randall Simon. And to be fair to Baez, everything's been off the batter card, so he really hasn't had much control. Now he's off his pitcher card. So it's a 6-7 against a lefty. Still might give up a hit. 1-9. 1-9 is a single. 10-20 is a line out to first. That's a 14, so it's a liner to first. And there's one away. Nice play over there by Thome to field that one. So now right fielder Robert Fick. Nothing on the D20. He is also a lefty. It's a 4-7. 4-7 is a fly ball center field B. That's a sacrifice fly to center. Then we get our first run of the game as George Lombard trots across the plate. And the Tigers take a 1-0 lead. But if Baez can get out of this with just the one run, he'll be doing very well. Here's Carlos Pena. The D20 has nothing. Pena, a 1-5 is a strikeout. So Denny Baez, all kinds of troubles, but only gave up one run, so I would say it's a moral victory for Mr. Baez. And the Tigers, 2002 weren't very good, so that's just a microcosm of their season, I suppose. But Denny Baez will be removed now, and Mark Redman, your starting pitcher. So Mark Redman is in there. And this groove in this table makes it pretty easy for me to put the card there so you can see it. Don't have to have the old whiteout holding it up anymore. Yeah, I figured out how to finally do this correctly. And now Matt Lawton, the right fielder, will lead off for the Indians against lefty Mark Redman. So it's a lefty on lefty matchup. And that's a 1-5. And a 1-5 is a ground ball to second base. One away for Omar Vizquel. And he's on the borderline of the Hall of Fame. 1-8. 1-8 for Vizquel. 1-6 is a home run. You wouldn't think of Vizquel being a home run hitter. And he's not this time to 16, so it's simply going to be a fly to left. So he pulled it, but not good enough. And here's Ellis Burks, the DH. It's a 3-7 against a lefty. 3-7 is a ground ball back to Redmond. And the Indians go down quietly here in the bottom of the first. We go to the second inning, and it is Detroit 1 and Cleveland nothing. Don't know if Cleveland will suffer the same fate that Montreal did with trying to do a tribute game to to Vladimir Guerrero, and the Expos fell flat and lost that game. So we'll see if that happens to Cleveland. Right now, leading off is going to be the third baseman Shane Halter. That's 4-8. He's a righty. 4-8 is a strikeout. So Shane Halter with the strikeout. Here comes Brandon Inge. 3-11 for Inge, and that's a pop out to short. Always a soft spot for me for Brandon Inge because he played his college ball at Virginia Commonwealth University, which is where I graduated from. So kind of have a special place for Brandon Inge. Here's Damian Jackson, the shortstop. 5-6. This was pre-Havoc, by the way. 5-6 is a strikeout for Damian Jackson. 5-6 is a K. And down go the Tigers quietly in the second. We go to the bottom of the second, and it'll be Mr. Thome himself, the man of the hour, man of the night. He will be the leadoff hitter in this one, in the bottom of the second, against Mark Redmond, lefty on lefty. 3-5. 3-5 is a walk. So Jim Thome gets aboard with a leadoff walk. Brings up Milton Bradley. He's got game. Go to the D20. It's a 7, so there's nothing. Bradley, a switch hitter, batting right. So 2-5. 2-5 is going to be a single with 2 stars. So Jim Thome hustles to third base. We got runners at the corners with nobody out for Ricky Gutierrez. He is the second baseman. It's a 3, nothing on the D20. Gutierrez is a righty facing a lefty. 1-4 is a ground ball second base C. So that's going to score the run. He's out 4-3, but the runners will advance. So Bradley goes to second, and Mr. Thome crosses the plate and ties the ball game at 1. That'll bring up Chris Magruder, switch hitter. He's a left fielder. Nothing on the D20. It's a 5-5. He's a switch hitter batting right. That's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's nowhere near tired. So that's 2 away. It's going to keep Bradley at second base and brings up John McDonald. He is the third baseman, a right-hander. Get a 5, nothing on that. Get a 6-6, and a 6-6 is a fly out to right field. And that's going to end the bottom of the second. But Cleveland ties the ball game at 1 as Thome walked and scored the tying run. So we go to the third, and it'll be back to Dennis Baez. Let's see if I can put both of these guys here. I think I can, but I'm not swapping so much. Maybe that'll work. We'll see. I better do it as one. Better leave it the way it was. All right, so Dennis Baez is back out there. And the Tigers are back to the top of the order. And George Lombard. Lombard singled and scored his first time up. It's a 5-2. And a 5-2 is a split chance, 1-18. And it'll be another single. It's a 19, though. How about that? So Lombard, kind of some bad luck there. So he's going to line it to second. 1 away. Brings up Damian Easley. That's a 2-4, and that's a walk. So Easley was hit by the pitch the first time. Second time, he walks. So he's reached base twice without the benefit of a hit. Brings up Bobby Higginson. Nothing on the D20. He gets in a lefty. 3-6 for Higginson, and that's a good opportunity for Higginson. 1-13 is a double. 14-20 is a single. 2 stars both ways. Let's see what we have here. It is a 2. So that's going to be a double. A double for Higginson. He's 2 for 2, a single and a double. And that's going to move easily to third. So runners at second and third with 1 out. And Randall Simon, the DH, he lined to first in his first at bat. Infield's going to play back. They want the out. It's a 5-6. 5-6 is not going to do him any good because it's a walk, and that's going to load the bases. So again, Dennis Baez is in trouble. Bases loaded, 1 out for Robert Fick. Nothing on the D20. Fix a lefty. It's a 6-2. 6-2 is a fly ball left field X. Left fielder for the Indians is Chris Magruder. He's a 2E5. That's 11, so he should get to that. Question is it going to be a sacrifice fly? Let's check that out. It's a 2, and the 3D6s total of 12. So he is a 2E5. So a 2 and an 11. A 2 and an 11 is an F2, and an E5 with a 12. There is no 12 there, so it's just an F2, and I believe that an F2 is a sacrifice fly, but we'll see. It says here, fly out if there's a run on 30 scores, so that's going to be a sac fly, and that's going to break up the tie. So it's a sacrifice fly to left field for out number 2, and that'll score Damien easily, as he scores easily, and the Tigers take a 2-1 lead. Leaves runners at first and second for Carlos Pena. It's a 5. Pena. 2-5. 2-5. Well, this is where the clutch gets him, because it's a single, but since we're in a clutch situation, that's going to no longer be a single. That's going to be a pop-up. So he's going to pop it to second, and the inning is over. So Pena not very well in the clutch. Fails in the clutch. So we go to the bottom of the third, but the Tigers do take the lead on the sacrifice fly, and they lead it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the third. And leading off for the Indians will be the catcher, Einar Diaz. Diaz, a 5-6. He is a right-hander. 5-6 is a line out to third, and that's one away, and it takes us back to the top of the order for Matt Lawton. Lawton, a 3-7. 1-6 is a double. 7-20 is a single. That's a 20, so it's a single for Lawton. So Lawton is aboard, and that'll bring up Omar Vizquel. Nothing on the D20. Vizquel, batting right-handed, is a switch hitter. 2-3 against the lefty is, unfortunately for him, a strikeout. So Vizquel down on strikes. 2 down for Ellis Burks. Nothing on the D20. Burks, a 2-3. 2-3 against the lefty is a diamond shot. Diamond shot. And it's 1-10 for a home run. So 1-10, Ellis Burks with a 2-run shot. And it's a 9. How about that? Got a little bumper pool going there, and it helped him out. So a 2-run home run from Ellis Burks on the diamond shot. So Jacobs Field helped him out there. And the Indians now grab a 3-2 lead thanks to the Ellis Burks homer. Brings up Jim Thome. It's a 3-12 against a lefty, and that's going to be a line out max, but that's the third out, so it doesn't matter. But the Indians pick up 2, and after 3 complete, it is Cleveland 3, Detroit 2. And I suspect this will be a high-scoring game because neither pitcher was really all that good. For the Tigers, Mark Redmond, 2002 was 8-15 with a 4.21, and Denys Baez in 2002 was 10-11 with a 4.41. So neither one gonna blow your socks off, but they do pitch innings, so maybe they'll hang around and be able to get into good 5 or 6 innings. We'll see. Right now we're in the top of the 4th with Shane Halter. He struck out his first time, 3-8, and he's going to strike out again. So Shane Halter, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, and it's going to bring up Brandon Inge. Inge, a 1-7, and that's going to be a walk. So Inge will walk. Brings up Damian Jackson. Damian Jackson, shortstop, struck out his first time up. Nothing on the D20. And we get a 3-5. 3-5 is a single with 2 stars. So this time Jackson delivers. And that will move Inge to third. Runners at the corners with only 1 out. And we're back to the top of the order in George Lombard. Nothing on the D20. Lombard singled and lined to second. It's a 3-12, and that's a ground ball second base C. So that's going to drive home the tying run he'll get the RBI as Inge crosses the plate. And Damian Jackson will move to second. So we're tied at 3. There's 2 outs, and Jackson at second for Damian Easley. Nothing happening on the D20. Easley at 2-2, and that's another line out max, but that's going to end the inning because there's already 2 outs. But the Tigers pick up a run, manufacture a run, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 3. And let's see what the Indians can do here against Mr. Redmond. And they'll get going with Milton Bradley. Milton Bradley. It is a 1-5 for Milton Bradley against a lefty. That's a walk. So a leadoff walk to Milton Bradley. And he could think about trying to get a lead here. Let's see here, 2-5 or an 11 or 12. It's a 4. Roll the roll die. What am I doing here? It's a 10, so 10's not going to cut it. He's not going to get his lead, so we don't worry about that. And we move on to Ricky Gutierrez. Nothing on the D20. It's a 4-8. 4-8 against a right-hander. Ooh, he found a good sweet spot there. 1-4 is a triple. 5-20 is a single with 2 stars. And it's an 18, so it's a single with 2 stars. And the Indians looking to reclaim the lead on the Gutierrez single. That sets them up with runners at the corners, nobody out for Chris Magruder. Switch hitter batting left, and the Tiger bullpen might start to loosen here. Nothing for D20. Here's Magruder. 5-8, he's a switch hitter batting right. 5-8 is a pop out to second, so that certainly helps. Infield fly rule. Keeps everything right where it is. 1 away. Now double play will get him out of the inning. Here's John McDonald. And there's a 1 on the D20, which means we are checking a wild pitch. And Redmond has a 12 wild pitch rating. It's a 2, so can't speak. Redmond uncorks the wild pitch, and that will bring home Bradley. And the Indians reclaim the lead 4-3. Gutierrez will go to second base. And since that was a successful, if you want to call it that, wild pitch check, we're going to check the D20 again. And this time it's a 2. So we'll see if it's going to be a balk check or a pass ball check. It's going to be a pass ball check. And the pass ball rating of the catcher, in this case, Brandon Inge, is a 4. So we're going to roll and see if he has a pass ball. He does not, barely. It's a 5. So now we have McDonald swinging away. It's a 1-8 against a lefty. And that's a ground ball, third base B. So with the runner at second, he's going to have to hold. And that's 2 away. Brings up the catcher, Einar Diaz. Diaz an 11, nothing happening. It's a 5-4. Diaz is a right-hander. 5-4 is a catcher X. That's Brandon Inge. He's a 2E1. So that's a 4. So we'll see what happens on that. He's a 2 and a 4. Well, I'm on the outfield. Let me get to the catcher here. Get to my other screen here, my other page. All right, he's a 2. 2 and a 4 is a W/G. And then we have a 13, and he's an E1. There is no error there, so we'll go to W/G. W/G is up here. And it says, with runners on base, the pitcher uncorks a wild pitch. All runners advance 1 base and play resumes with the same batter at the plate. So it's going to be a wild pitch, another one. And that's going to move Gutierrez to third. I'm hoping I'm doing that correctly. Like I said, it's been a while since I played Super Advanced, so some of these WGs and WPs are a little iffy for me. So now we're going to have D20 check again, nothing happening. So now Diaz, 3-3 against a lefty. 3-3 against a lefty is a ballpark single check, and that is a 1-9. And that's a 15, so he's going to line it to short, and the inning is over. But the Indians reclaim the lead, and after 4 innings, it is 4-3 favor of the Indians. So Denny's Baez coming out to pitch the 5th. He's got to get through this inning with the lead in order to qualify for a win. As I drop Mark Redmond here. Get him back. All right, here we go. So Denny's Baez will be facing Bobby Higginson to start things off here in the top of the fifth. Higginson's 2 for 2, a single and a double. It's a 4-6, and Higginson's a lefty. That is a fly ball to right. One away. Randall Simon. 1-5 for Simon, and that's a home run possibility. 1-6 would be a homer. 7-20 is a double. 1-6, and we got a tie ball game. It's a 20, so it's just going to be a double for Randall Simon. So he gets a double. That brings up Robert Fick. He's had the distinction of 2 sacrifice flies. 1 to center, 1 to left, so he's technically 0 for 0. Nothing on the D20. Fick, a 4-9. He's a lefty. 4-9 is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Vizquel. He's a 1 and an E8. So that's a 6 and a 13. So we'll check that result. A 1 and a 13 is a G1, and a 6, and he's an E8. So come over here to E8. 6 makes the play. So a G1 with a runner at second, he's going to have to hold. The ball hit in front of him. So that's 2 outs. And it's going to bring up Carlos Pena. Pena, 19, nothing doing. Pena, 6-9 against Baez, the lefty. 6-9 is a walk. So that's going to put runners at first and second with 2 outs for Shane Halter, but he struck out twice. He's 0 for 2, 2 Ks. Nothing doing there. Baez trying to get the hat trick on Halter. It's a 1-7, but this time he's going to walk Halter, and that's going to load the bases. So back-to-back walks. And he could be getting close to his point of weakness here, although we're in the 5th, not the 6th. But he is certainly struggling. Bases are loaded, 2 outs for Brandon Inge. They're going to stick with him, try to get him through this 5th inning. Inge, nothing on the D20. Inge, a 5-8. 5-8 to ground ball, second base X. Second baseman is Gutierrez. He's a 4 E20. That's a 4 and a 4. That's a base hit, guaranteed. 4 and a 4. 4 and a 4 is an SI2, so that's a 2-run single. There's a 9 there, and he is an E20. So an E20, second baseman E20 and a 9. There is no error, but it's a 2-run single for Brandon Inge as he comes through big time for the Tigers. Drives in 2 and puts the Tigers back out in front. With runners at the corners. That'll bring up Damian Jackson. 1 for 2 with a single, nothing on the D20. Jackson at 2-5 is a strikeout to end the inning. But this seesaw battle goes back and forth. Now the Tigers take a 5-4 lead, as Denny's Baez could not hold the 4th. So we go to the bottom of the 5th, and now Mark Redmond has a chance to qualify for the win. And the Indians have the bullpen going, as they don't want to wait around anymore for Mr. Baez to turn it around. He's gone 5 innings, so they figure if he hasn't done it by now, he's not going to. So we look at the bullpen for the Indians, and we're going to have Lombard, Easley, and Higginson, 2 lefties out of 3. So looks like Terry Mulholland is going to be loosening in the bullpen for Cleveland. But right now it is Mark Redmond, and he's going to start the bottom of the 5th against Matt Lawton. Lefty on lefty, it's a 4-8. 4-8. Ooh, Lawton found a good one. 1-4 is a triple, and 5-20 is a double. It's 13, so it's a leadoff double for Matt Lawton. And the seesaw continues. Goes when Detroit gets on it and sends it down and sends Cleveland up in the air. Cleveland comes right back on the other side of the seesaw and levels it out. So here's Vizquel. It's a 13, so nothing on the D20. Vizquel, it's a 1-5 against a lefty. 1-5 is a fly ball to left, and that's 1 away. So we'll bring up Ellis Burks. He homered last time. And it's a 13, nothing going on there. And we get a 6-7 against a right-hander. And that's a fly ball to center field. 2 down. And it's up to Jim Thome. He's walked in line to second. Nothing on the D20. Thome. It's a 5-8. 5-8's a line out to first base, and that's going to end the inning. So technically, Mark Redmond can qualify for the win, as after 5 complete, it's the Tigers 5 and the Indians 4. And that's, like we said, going to be all for Denny's Baez. He is gone. He is long gone. And they'll turn it over to the left-hander, the aforementioned left-hander, Terry Mulholland. So Terry Mulholland will be in there now to take over. Here in the top of the 6th. And he's going to get to face the top of the order, Lombard, who's a lefty. Easley's a righty, but then Higginson and Simon and Fick and Pena. So 5 out of the next 6 are left-handed batters, so that's why he's in there. So Mulholland is in. And he will start things off facing George Lombard. Lombard's 1 for 3. It's a 2-8, this time against a lefty instead of a righty. 2-8's a strikeout, so Lombard down on strikes, 1 away. Brings up Damian Easley. It's a 5-5 against a righty, that's a fly to left. So 2 down as Mulholland trying to get some stability back. Here's Bobby Higginson, 4-4. Fly ball center field X, that is going to be Milton Bradley. He's a 2E8. So 2-12, he'll get to it. E8, it's a, let's see, 15. So check the outfield error ratings here. See what we get. He is an E8, and this is a 15 for a center fielder. So an E8 and the 15, look at that. It's a 2-base error. 2-base error on Milton Bradley. So he did not have game there. It's a 2-base error, E8. Almost wrote a double in there. E8, I'll get it straight. E8, so Milton Bradley commits the error. So that's a 2-out error, puts runner at second for Randall Simon. Nothing on the D20. That's a 4-7 against a lefty. And a 1's a single. Anything else, he will line to second. That's a 2. He almost got his single, but it's snagged by Gutierrez, and that's going to end the top of the 6th. So the Tigers set down here in the 6th by Mulholland. We go to the bottom of the 6th, Mark Redmond. His point of weakness doesn't start until the 7th, so they're going to give him one more go, although he is on a short leash. And the Tiger bullpen, let's look at what they've got in their bullpen. The Tiger bullpen, they're going to use or look to warm up Adam Bernero. So Adam Bernero is loosely in case Mr. Redmond gets into trouble. And here's Milton Bradley going to try to make up for that error. It's a 1-7 against a lefty. It's going to fly to center, so that's not going to get it done. 1 away, no game for Bradley. Here's Ricky Gutierrez, 3-6. 3-6 is a single. That's a 1-out single. So Gutierrez is 2 for 3. Brings up Magruder. He's 0 for 2. Nothing on the D20. Magruder, 1-7 against a lefty. 1-7 is a strikeout. So Magruder out on strikes. It's up to John McDonald. It's an 18. Nothing doing there. McDonald, a 2-5 against a lefty, is a foul out to third. And that's going to end 6th inning. So 6 innings are in the books. And it is a 5-4 ball game. So Mulholland, with the lefties still coming up, Mulholland will be coming in to pitch, or coming back to pitch his 2nd inning. And he's going to face Fick, Pena, and Halter. So Robert Fick, lefty on lefty to lead things off, 3-4. 3-4 is going to be a fly to left, and that's 1 away. brings up Carlos Pena. Pena, a 1-5. 1-5 is a single for Carlos Pena. This time it's not a clutch at bat, so he was able to get the single. So one out single for Shane Halter. Nothing doing there. Shane Halter, a righty this time. 5-5 against Mulholland, and the righty flies to left. So it's 2 down. So in that case, the right went left. It didn't work for him. Right was wrong. So here's Brandon Inge. It's a 5, nothing doing. And a 6-12. How about that? 6-12 against a righty is a ground ball first base X. That's Thome. He's a 4 and a 13. So don't know if he'll get this or not. A 4 with a 9. A 4 with a 9. 4 with a 9. First base, a 4 and a 9. Actually, he will get to it. Now the error check, it's a 14. He is an E13. So an E13, there is no 14, so he got to it. And that's going to end the inning. It's the 3rd out, so we don't have to worry about what happened with the runners. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Mulholland has done his job, 2 shutout innings to keep his team in the ball game. We're at the bottom of the 7th, and it's still a 5-4 ball game in favor of the Tigers. And we're going to have Diaz, Lawton, and Vizquel, but we will have a new pitcher as Redmond went 6, and they figure that's good enough. So they're going to turn to, and actually it's not going to be, let's see if we get his card here. Go find him. There he is. So it's not going to be Adam Bernero. It's actually going to be Kyle Farnsworth. So Kyle Farnsworth is going to come in and pitch for the Tigers to start the 7th. And for the Indians, Mulholland has gone 2 already. So they're looking now to go to a relief pitcher of their own for next inning. And it appears it's going to be Chad Peranto. He's going to be the pitcher in the top of the 8th. But right now, it is Adam Bernero. I'm sorry, it is Jeff Farnsworth against Einar Diaz. Diaz is 0 for 2, 2 lineouts. 6-7. And look at this. Diaz just doubles off of Farnsworth. And here comes the Indians. So Einar Diaz with a leadoff double. Here's Matt Lawton. Nothing doing. D20. So it's a 2-7. And a 2-7 is a fly ball to center. That's 1 away. Brings up Omar Vizquel. Nothing doing. Vizquel. 1-4 against a righty is another fly ball to center. So that's 2 away. And it's up to Ellis Burks. He did homer back in the 3rd inning. It's nothing on the D20. That was against the lefty. This is against the righty. 1-5. He's going to strike out. So Farnsworth goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the top of the 8th, and it's stabilized a little bit. It's still a 5-4 ball game. And we're going to see Chad Peranto. He is the new Indians reliever. Chad Peranto. And he will be facing Damian Jackson, the number 9 hitter, and then back to the top of the order with Lombard and Easley. But first up is Damian Jackson. It's a 4-2 against a righty. It's ground ball to 3rd, and there's 1 away. Brings up George Lombard. 1-3 for Lombard. That is a ground ball to 2nd for quickly 2 outs. And Damian Easley. 3-7 for Easley is a strikeout. So Peranto, excellent work out of the bullpen. Tigers go 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Farnsworth, since he did pretty well in the 1st inning, he's going to go ahead and stay in there. Pitch 1 more inning, I think. Let's check the lineup here. Actually, with Thome coming up, they're going to go to a lefty out of their bullpen. And it's going to be Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker, the lefty. Because they want a lefty to face Thome, so Walker is going to come in and pitch the 8th, or at least start pitching the 8th. But right now it's Jamie Walker. Lefty on lefty against Thome. And Thome on his tribute night is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. It's a 4-4, and it's a catcher X. Catcher is Inge. He's a 2, E1. That's an 18, so probably not a problem. So let's see here, a 2 and an 18 is a G2. It's an 11, and he's an E1. No error there, so it's simply a 2-3 ground out. And it's probably going to be Thome's last at bat unless we got extra innings. So he was uneventful in his tribute as well. 4-9 for Milton Bradley. He's a righty, switch hitter batting right, and he's going to strike out. So there's 2 down. So the bullpen's getting it done for both teams. Here's Ricky Gutierrez, the 4-8 against a right-hander. It's a pop to short. And we're going to the 9th. Still a 5-4 Tiger lead. Still a 5-4 Tiger lead. Paranto back out there because he did so well. Actually, you know what? They're going to take him out because there's a lot of lefties coming up, and they're going to their bullpen for Ricardo Rincon, another lefty. So Ricardo Rincon, the lefty, is coming in. He will pitch the top of the 9th and face these lefties, Higginson, Simon, and Fick. So Ricardo Rincon. Ricardo Rincon facing Bobby Higginson. So he's facing Bobby Higginson, lefty on lefty. That's a 3-3 against a lefty. 3-3 against a lefty is a single chance, 1-7, and 8-20 is a line out to second. It's a 13, so he's going to line it to second. 4 out number 1. That brings up Randall Simple Simon. Don't know about the Pieman. 4-6 against Rincon, a lefty. It's a strikeout. Don't know if he met the Pieman or not, but he gets got a pie in the face with a strikeout. Here's Robert Fick. But actually, Fick against a lefty did not do very well, so they're going to pinch hit with a right-hander and have someone also play right field as a little bit better defender. So they're going to use Wendell McGee. Wendell McGee is going to come in and pinch hit, and he's going to stay in the game to play right field because he's a 2 right fielder, whereas Fick is a 4 rated right fielder. So Wendell McGee, it's not only an offensive move, it's a defensive move. So he's going to pinch hit, and his numbers, he's a 2, a 0, and an E9 versus 4, -1, and a 14. So even if he doesn't get anything offensively, he's better defensively. It's a 1-6, and that's actually a single. So Wendell McGee, pinch hit single, keeps the inning going. And just for curiosity's sake, had Fick stayed in the ball game and hit on a 1-6, he would have popped to first. So that was a good strategy there. That brings up Carlos Pena against Rincon, and that's a 6. Nothing doing there. And that's a 6-9 against a lefty, and he found a double. Look at that, 6-9. He found the one hit that's there, and it's a double. Now the question is, will the runner score? Well, let's take a look. The run rating for McGee, he has a run rating of 12. There are 2 outs, so that gives him an extra 2, which is 14. He was being held as a 13, and then the double is to right field. The right fielder is Lawton. He's a +2, so not a good arm there. So we got a 12, a 14, held as a 13, and then +2 is a 15. So 1 to 15, he'll score. They'll go ahead and take that chance. It's a 6. He's safe. So an RBI double for Carlos Pena. That's a big insurance run for the Tigers. They now take a 6-4 lead off of Rincon. And that'll bring up Shane Halter. Nothing on the D20. Halter, a 5-6 and it's a fly to center to end the inning. But the damage was done, and it was done by Carlos Pena with the RBI double. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. It's up to Cleveland. They need 2 to send this thing to extra innings. And Tigers now will turn to, well, Farnsworth was lights out 1, 2, 3 in this previous inning. So you know what? They're going to stick with Farnsworth to see if he can't get the save. Although he had no saves, so I'm trying to figure out who their closer was back then. Out of the players that are available. Actually, it's going to be Juan Acevedo. So Juan Acevedo is coming in. In 2002, he did have 28 saves. So it just makes sense that Farnsworth will be the setup guy and Juan Acevedo. So Kyle Farnsworth, forgot to write him in. And then Juan Acevedo. So he will be the 5th pitcher for the Tigers. Indians have used 4. So, but it doesn't matter. It's a 1-game, you know, it's not playing the season here, so don't have to worry about that. Brandon Inge, I'm sorry, it'll be Chris Magruder because Cleveland's batting. Duh. So it'll be the bottom of the order, Magruder, McDonald, and Diaz against Acevedo. Question is, they do have some lefties on their bench. They have plenty of lefties on their bench. So they could turn to Bill Selby, Ben Broussard. Actually, I don't have Magruder on the bench. I don't know why I wrote him twice, because he's in the starting lineup. But they do have Selby, Stevens, and Broussard. So we're going to check Selby, Stevens, and Broussard. See what kind of bats they have. And if they're capable of doing anything. Selby only hit 214, so he's not a likely candidate. 241 for Broussard. Stevens at 222. We checked the right-handers. We got Earl Snyder at 200, and we have, that's it, Eddie Perez at 214. So it looks like we may just be stuck with what we've got. We'll wait and see. Right now they're going to let Magruder, the switch hitter, lead off against Acevedo. That's a 1-9. 1-9 is a strikeout, so that's 1 away. And I'll bring up John McDonald. Now McDonald is a 250 hitter, so they're going to leave him out there. 1-6, and it's a good thing too. He's a 1-2 is a triple, 3-20 is a single. That's a 1. How about that? That is a 1. So John McDonald, a 1-out triple, and now that brings the tying run to the plate in Einar Diaz. But he's not going to hit. He's going to be pinch hit for. He was a 206 hitter on the season. So they're going to take him out of there. And they're going to bring in pinch hitter. And they're going to go to Ben Broussard. He hit 241. So Ben Broussard, the lefty, is the pinch hitter for for Einar Diaz. McDonald's the one that just tripled. So it's Ben Broussard. He is the pinch hitter. As the Jacobs Field faithful is trying to encourage their team to make the rally. Right now, Acevedo glaring in. Here's the D20 check. Nothing happening. He's going to face Broussard. Infield is back. They'll give up the run to get the out. 6-8. So 6-8 against a lefty. 6-8 is a ground ball first base B, and that will score the run, I do believe. Let's check my cheat sheet here. Infield back. Runner at third. Ground ball B is a 5. Let's see. Well, technically it says that he does not score, because it says here if it's hit to second or short, batter outruns advance, but otherwise batter has to hold. So since he went to first, he's not going to be able to score. So Broussard fails. That'll bring up Matt Lawton. Matt Lawton's the last chance here. 7, nothing on the D20. That's a 4-9 against a lefty. That's a walk. So the inning and the ball game continue. Runners are at first and second with 2 outs for Omar Vizquel. So Vizquel has a chance to be the hero. He did hit 275 on the season. 6, nothing happening. So Vizquel against Acevedo. It's a 2-7, and Vizquel is going to walk. So how about that? Bases are now loaded for Ellis Burks, who homered back in the third. It's 1 for 4. Burks a 301 hitter on the season, so he's got a chance to do some damage here against Acevedo. It's a 4-9. 4-9 is a ground ball to short, though, and that's going to end the ball game as Jim Thome was left on the bench to watch. So there's your final. The real game, Detroit won 9-6, but in this game, the Tigers hold on for a 6-4 victory. For Jim Thome, a rough day, rough night. 0 for 3, a walk and a run scored, and his team falls to the lowly Tigers. But that's going to do it from here. Hopefully you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic that's meant to honor the Hall of Fame recipient Jim Thome. And again, the reason I picked this particular season, 304 with 52 home runs, pretty good, right? And he had the walk-off grand slam, which had he had a chance to bat, may have come to fruition. You never know. We had that same situation. And he got it off Acevedo in real life. So go look up the box score and you'll see. So almost repeated history, but not quite. And couldn't quite get it done, but it was still an interesting game nonetheless. So that's the second installment in the Hall of Fame honorees. The third installment is going to combine Chipper Jones and Trevor Hoffman, because it's kind of hard to do a Trevor Hoffman game by himself. So what I'm going to do is play a game that Chipper Jones played in against Trevor Hoffman and the Padres. So we'll do one of those. I believe it's from 2001, and that'll be the next game in the tribute. And actually pitching that game for the Braves was Tom Glavine, so that'll be interesting. So hopefully you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Baseball and the Jim Thome tribute. Kind of a rough looking score sheet there. I didn't have time to total anything, but the important total is 6-4. That's what counts. So hope you all are having a wonderful day doing whatever you do as far as your game rolling, whether it be Strat or a different game. And hopefully you will encourage the hobby and check out those channels that I referenced in the beginning. Especially the newer guys that are just starting out, they definitely need our support and encouragement to continue and grow the hobby. So until next time, as usual, I will see you all down the road.